From the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, coming to you live from the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino on four-star Dave Day. And once again, it is beautiful out this morning.
Yeah, and it was a gorgeous day yesterday. It looks to be much the same today, and I think tomorrow as well. We're looking for a little rain maybe as we get into next week. But looking very good right now here at Saratoga, and expected to be, as I say, this afternoon and tomorrow as well. And again, a nice afternoon. Some gate works going on right in front of us, and the Jim Bond horses were making their move back and forth. So yeah, gorgeous morning up here at Saratoga. And
also, funny to say, but Arlington Million Day at Churchill Downs, a mere shadow of its former self in purse and in distance. The Beverly D will go off at approximately 3 o'clock, and the Arlington Million will be about 6:30 this afternoon on a turf course I don't think has seen racing in 2 months. 2 months and a couple days, so we'll see how that goes. But the Arlington Million later on this evening during dinner hour. Of course, the Grade 1 4-star Dave in New York at a mile. So outstanding turf racing today.
Yeah.
And out in Southern California, Fillies and Mares in the yellow ribbon, no longer what it used to be. It's a Grade 2 at a mile and a 16th, and the 2-year-old fillies in the Sorrento.
And we should add that for folks who are tuning in tonight, here on the network, you'll have cut-ins this evening as well, looking at the Del Mar card.
Yours truly. So, a
Pressure's
pleasure.
on.
Well, it's a good pressure.
Yeah,
I've told people many. I mean, my wife is. It's good when your wife is clamoring more so than yourself. When are we going? When are we going? I looked at her, I go, well, I've been there, so I don't know what we are going. We can go whenever you like. So Del Mar tonight, kicking off some little cut-ins on Saturday for you on the network as nighttime thoroughbred action in play. And as I've said before, and I know you have a busy schedule, but I have to tell you, I love this our time 7 o'clock post on Friday. I love it.
Oh yeah.
I think later in the meet they're going to move it up an hour.
Dino
to
says next week 6 o'clock. Yeah.
6 o'clock they're going to move it up as we all sadly know the sundown and sunlight and daylight hours are shrinking, so they're going to move it up an hour. Their intention is to get another race or two in. That's what they're facing. There are no lights at Del Mar.
No.
Should there be? I mean,
no.
Summertime event, even though they run in November now.
But I'm with your wife. You said she appreciated that.
Oh, the scene.
Shot across, looking at the beach.
Right.
I've always said that.
And by the way, it's not a fake scene. It's only like 600 yards. It depends on where you're at the track. If you're at the top of the stretch, it might be like 450 yards away. You got to cross two major roads, but it's right there.
Yeah.
That what are they called? Lifeguard huts or something? They always show the same building. It's always the same shot.
Yeah.
And what's happening if you're in the grandstand and you go to the top of it and you look out, you can see it. I mean, you can see the shot that they shoot. It's right there. There's a gap, and that's the part of the ocean that
beach and horse racing, two of my favorite things.
That's it.
If only there was a Syracuse basketball court out on the beach, I would have the triumph.
That'd be it.
Yeah,
maybe so. Jets practice in the background.
No,
you don't need the Jets practice.
I still root for the Jets, but that's a rough call.
Big day yesterday. Quick thing on, it's kind of like my equivalent to the trifecta, superfecta. Yesterday, the late pick 4, I think it paid about 45. Late pick 5, excuse me, paid about 4,500. The pick 6 paid 575,000. You needed Eloquist, who was a $27 winner, kicking off the pick 6, who I had in the mix. And, of course, I had Theodore Grace at the end that made it blow up. But I'm guessing by my math set, they bet about $600,000 into the pool yesterday. So that's a multiplier of 5 times what the carryover was. And one winner, I'm guessing. When you take in the takeout, 575 is for $1, nearly $600K. But what I'm pointing out is, you know, the pick 5 came back right, 4,500. One more race, the all ticket, but that's the consternation you have about bankroll and risk, etc. It's what I talk about with the tries and the supers. You know, it's just a bankroll. You need a significantly different bankroll, because I was told by a person whose gambling acumen I respect highly. They're like, you can only do this if you buy the all button in the superfecta. He goes, you can't handicap, because you take the all, that's how you bet it, and you go forward.
And don't forget the pick 5 was 50 cents.
Yes.
So for $1 you got 8,000. So it was
8,000.
only a $560,000 difference for the dollar.
So the multiplier is 9 is 6, about 65 to 1 multiplier on a 12 to 13 to 1 shot.
Yeah.
So it just, once again, we talked about yesterday, we talked about so much of it's about bankroll. I mean, the handicapping is a talent, etc., but I'm sure there are people out there who have, you know, like you said, you win the pick 5. You were talking about yesterday, betting, not betting, betting more when you won late in the day. You're walking out going, man, one horse, you know, I mean, let's say the pick 6 comes down to $100,000 a piece. You know, it's a big difference, and it's a tough game. But kudos to whomever. I didn't see any reporting if it was on track, if it was in New York or California. It usually pops up within a day where the ticket was sold. And but kudos to someone who, you know. And I think of it not anywhere near like the lottery, because I think there's a skill set involved. But I would hope that person had a life-changing moment with that score.
You would think that would be in the neighborhood of getting that definition.
Also might have been people playing for a 15 to 1 return on investment.
Yeah.
You know, the suitcases coming in and betting it. So, but a great day racing. And I have to tell you, I mean, for a person who had Theodore Grace on top, I guess Eloquist, who I had for 3rd in that race, there were no reaches.
Yeah,
and I played the trifectas.
Yeah.
I mean, so the 2 horses that I think most people would say caused it, I don't agree.
Well, I didn't have Eloquist. I did hit the late pick 3. I used Theodore Grace.
Good job.
So that was a nice late pick 3. And I also had Theodore Grace boxed in an exacta with the horse that ran 3rd. And if anybody wants to know my consternation yesterday, take a look at that. Oh, 1st and 3rd with 2 really nice prices. The exacta, I mean, like I say, I bailed out a little bit at the end of the day with that pick 3, but the exacta was going to be very nice. So that was
the exacta that won, by the way, was very nice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no question about it.
For yours truly,
all 3 of them were right there.
Yeah, I mean, a good. I mean, we said it before. I say it mostly about the timing situation, but I read Ortiz won on a $30 horse because he showed you he stayed on the hedge where the fresh running has been when they dropped the rails on Wednesday. He gave the horse a 14 to 1 shot, a perfect trip, and he got the money. I mean, that's how it goes. I mean, that'll help his ROI, which is usually anemic because so many people bet his horses. Ready for the play of the day? Anything else? All right. The DePaul play of the day up next.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
Save this week. Drive Silverado, just $369 a month. Yes, $369 a month.
Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hello everybody, Kevin Cox, the Brooklyn Cowboy here with the DePaula Play of the Day from Saratoga Race Course. We've been giving you our Play of the Day on Fridays and Saturdays throughout the meet. And as for today, we're going to make you all wait until the final race of the day, race 11, with the number 9 Callaway Peak. This Carlos Martin trainee closed decently last time out, gaining about a dozen lengths from the halfway point to the finish line and closing out the superfecta. Makes the all-important third start off the layoff this afternoon and is reacquainted with blinkers, which were taken off last time, probably in order to get this one a little bit closer to the pace early on. There's an excellent DRF formulator stat in play here, as the aforementioned trainer over the last 5 years is 6 for 13 with maiden claiming turf routers who missed the board less than 68 days ago. The payouts were healthy for that sampling: $24, $23, $11, $7, $4, and $5 as well. What's weird about that stat is if you switched off the board with in the money, he would be 0 for 4 in that regards. There's a subcategory of 2 for 2 with Eric Hansel in the irons. He happens to be aboard today. And although this one is listed as 8 to 1 morning line, we think we're going to get a little bit more. So we're looking at the Heidi Heidi Ho finale with the number 9 Callaway Peak. Your DePaula, player of the day from Saratoga, and we'll see you at the track.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
Save this week and drive any new Chevy like Equinox with 0 down payment, 0 first payment, and 0 security.
Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click. So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Handicappers. So also of note, Rudy got off the duck in the wrong New York bred stakes race.
Not for him.
Well, the other one was a bigger price. You could have bet it. But what do you think now? Trevor McCarthy, Rudy, $15 winning the Morrissey. As I was saying yesterday, he was 0 for a lot, let's say. And he had a price horse in the Union Avenue that I liked that did not run well, but Rudy gets off the duck.
It'd be interesting to see if that does turn things around, because a lot of times it seems like they're cold. Then once you get going, it changes things. It's going to be interesting to see how he performs over the next 4 or 5 days.
And I don't believe in things like that, like the karma, but I've said before, you do bar graphs of when, trainers win. They're not 17% for 12 months. They're like 30% for 3 weeks, and for Rudy, 0% for 3 weeks, and then you bounce back. But congratulations to Rudy, who does a great job year-round. Not many people have ridden and trained a Grade 1 winner. I'm sure it's a small group.
I'm sure that's a small group
but,
as well.
He is one of them. It is a beautiful day. Are you ready for 4-star Dave Day?
I am.
All right. The opener, 2-year-olds open company, maiden special weights on the inner turf course at 1 mile and a 16th. And just a quick note, I know David Aragona kind of alluded to the fact that on Twitter that the 2-year-olds this weekend might be a noteworthy bunch. Yes, I like tomorrow's card.
Yeah. I have it 5, 6, 7, and 3. I thought 8 was a little bit attractive as well, the firster from Mike Maker. But I put Calicanthus on top.
Correct.
Guessing there.
Yes.
English Channel.
Good guess.
Yeah, okay with the firsters. The numbers don't jump off the page. But the dam produced a sibling called Red Rounder. Won the first 2 starts of the career, both at 1 mile on the turf. I thought that was interesting. I looked up some stats, put stats in the TU every day, and so the stat I used today, Todd Pletcher, over the last 3 years, only 2 for 18 with 2-year-old debut runners going 1 mile and a 16th at Saratoga on the turf. Only 2 for 18. But 1 for his last 3, if you go back to Annapolis, winning right at the end of last season. So I thought that was a little bit intriguing. So I'll put 5 on top. Number 6, Lord of the Navy in the second spot. Lord Nelson, pretty good with first-time starters. 43 of them this year, 7 wins, 5 seconds, 5 thirds. Sibling called Malibu Marie ran 3rd, then 5th in the first 2 starts, and then ripped off 4 wins. So I thought there was some win early here from the Mike Maker runner. And Torigo by Munnings, who puts up pretty good first-time numbers. First fall from the dam, so nothing to dig out on the bottom side, but Danny Gargan does okay with the firsters, so I thought that one might be interesting. I'm Very Busy goes out for Chad Brown. Never want to ignore a Chad Brown firster. This one worked 10.2 before the March Ocala sale, so could be a little bit interesting. 5, 6, 7, and 3.
I was just trying to look up. I'm shocked that you had a chance to bring Tockett into the conversation and didn't. Wasn't he one of your darlings? You
Yes,
kind of
yes,
felt
yes.
he maybe more so than Vindication in 02
Absolutely.
should have been the 2-year-old champion.
Record, yes.
All right, it's hard to beat undefeated, and he beat
Yeah,
Tockett.
but undefeated with
4 starts.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was,
and he beat Tockett in the Breeders' Cup. So but he
Tockett
loved
then
Tockett.
came back and won a race after that too.
Maybe more than one.
It was at least, was it the Laurel race was after the Breeders' Cup? Or
Didn't he also the Remsen?
Yeah, and so.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm with Seth. 5-1-3, and the plant Calacanthus is my top pick. Just the the English Channel angle. You're thinking 2 turns, a mile 16. Irad Ortiz in the saddle. He knows where the hedge is. For second, number 1, Full Coverage. A first timer for Mr. McGahee and Offspring of Kitten's Joy. And for third, I'm Very Busy going out for Chad Brown and Offspring of Cloud Computing, the classic winner. 5-1-3.
Top of the page, I have written race number 2 is a very competitive event. $35,000 conditional claimers, non-winners of 3 lifetime, 3/4 of a mile the distance.
3-6-7 for me, and Mount Athos is my top pick. Rudy Brissett sends out this runner who is 2 for 2 at 6 furlongs. You have to parse it out to find the 6 furlong races, and yellow highlighters make it easy for me, but solid efforts. Ricardo Santana was aboard the race at Oaklawn Park, kicking off the season on income tax day to a victory going 6th. That was in claiming 2L, then tried starter allowances at Churchill Downs 3 in a row. And I've said before that I just think in this day and age, these starter allowances are noticeably tougher than these 2L, 3L. So this is actually Mount Athos' first attempt at 3L. For second, number 6, Pico d'Oro goes out with blinkers this afternoon. And for third, right next door in the starting gate, cold as hell, Wayne Lucas and Luis Saez. You had Wayne on yesterday.
Yeah,
must have been the
very good.
easiest 20 minutes of your life.
Very good. He was a lot of fun. If you didn't get a chance to see him yesterday, tune in, go over the YouTube channel and pull that up. A lot of fun talking to Wayne Lucas. 2 days ago, Tommy Amos I thought was great as well on the Thursday show. So check those out if you didn't get a chance
And
to
Tom, one quick thing about Tom. It was interesting that he basically got into it because of handicapping. He had no, and I don't think that that's a well-worn path to trainership.
No,
he's like,
no
he likes
family
no,
connection
nothing.
at all. Yeah, it's
Like, I
interesting.
like gambling.
I have at 9-3, the 1 entry in 4, number 9, Resist the Devil. Goes out for one of the Rice family coming in for Presque Isle Downs. And the other, Adam Rice, may be a little more proficient at this, but
Monster B.
I thought it was intriguing here that this one's making that move at a 10-to-1 price off a seasonal debut that I thought was okay. I think this horse could be interesting. I just, and again, in a competitive race where there's a little bit of an angle here that may be intriguing. Second start back and taking their shot at Saratoga. Second spot, Mount Athos. I agree. Class move coming up from Churchill is notable. And then Letty in the third spot off the claim for Linda Rice. 1 claimed away from Steve Asmussen. So what are we going to get from this horse on the first off the claim and the move out of that barn with a little step up? I think the horse is in good form. Linda Rice is good off the claim. So I expect a pretty good performance from Letty in this bunch. I have it 9-3, the 1 entry, and 4.
On to the third. 3-year-olds and up. Phillies claimers in for 35. 2L, 5.5 on the turf.
1, 6, 2, and 5, and I think the 3 is also a little bit intriguing from Mike Maker. I wouldn't argue against that one with Luis Saez on board, but I put No Pain on top. If you listen to this show enough, you know this is a class move I really, really like and have for many years, and it can produce some runners that win at prices, and this one is 8-1 on the morning line. Stake bred allowance into an open claimer, and these days in an open conditional claimer, even better. So I think on the class move, this horse becomes very, very intriguing for me. Second slot, Rigby goes out for a Mike Maker, Irad Ortiz on board. I think you have to watch everything Irad is on board at this meet, obviously, and this one comes in some pretty good form. The last time ran third, a close-up second, 2 back, but The numbers are moving in the right direction. I think this one could be primed for a very good effort this afternoon. Cadencia in the third spot. Trainer, limited starters, a little cool at the meet, but boy, it's hard to ignore the win last time in the maiden breaker and the first off the claim start. Comes back at half the price in a non-winners of 2. I think it's going to fit okay with this group in here, given what we saw last time. I have it in the third, 1, 6, 2, and 5.
Well, you can see in our trifecta selections, we have no agreement, sort of indicating how wide open it is. And when that's the case, for me, 4-3-5 for me, and Train to Artemis. They're going to take blinkers off this afternoon in the most recent effort, which was opening day at the spot. In an 11-horse field, we're on the outside in a 4-ply pace. We're the widest of them all, with Irad in the saddle, tired at the end. Now, that was the second start off of November 28th, 2020 layoff, when in the barn of Wesley Ward, going out for Safi Joseph. So none of that surprises me. I get Flavian Prat this afternoon on third race off of that very extended, more than a year layoff. They take the blinkers off. Maybe we're going to relax a little. I like Train to Artemis, especially coming off of the last effort. For second, number 3, Blazing Star. First time in for a tag from Mike Maker. These are the silks of the Alabama favorite Panty Raid. I remember that yellow with the green hoops. I think Panty Raid was the chalk that day in the Alabama many years ago. I think 07. Take the Back Roads is my third pick. We had Tom Amos on the other day. First time in for a tag, coming off of a nice allowance sprint at Horseshoe, Indiana, which is slow for me to say easily. 4-3-5 in a fun third race at the spot. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more from Saratoga.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467, and win more with Capital OTB.
Handicappers Report on this Saturday, another Saratoga Saturday, and as we're coming out of the first break, that means it's the Dark Horse Play of the Day, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway, downtown Saratoga. The smart bet is always the Dark Horse, and I will once again tout you to swing by if you're up in Saratoga for the races, either before or after the races. Swing by the Dark Horse Mercantile. You'll have a great time kind of browsing clothing, home decor, racing memorabilia. Down the street also, their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga. More good browsing material down there as well. Unfortunately, we lost our Dark Horse yesterday to a scratch, so we'll jump in today and hope that we get into the starting gate with a 12-1 runner in race number 8 today. It's number 2, Midnight Worker, goes out for Todd Pletcher and Mike Rapoli. First-time gelding symbol. Clearly, they had some ambitions for this horse. Up here at Saratoga last year, won the career debut. Then they tried the Sapling, ran an okay third. They tried the Futurity and the Nashua, ran fourth in both of those races. Wound up the season on the turf and an optional claimer, ran okay. I've said it before, 2-year-olds to 3-year-olds, if they're lightly raced, 3-year-olds to 4-year-olds, if they get a break like this, oftentimes they can come back with an improved performance. I will not be at all shocked, particularly with this, now as a new gelding. I won't be shocked at all to see this horse that they had some promise for come back and run very well this afternoon, and maybe an improved effort. Luis Saez is on board. That's a plus. So we have 12-1 on a horse that clearly they had ambitions with. Comes back in a non-winners of 1. Comes back as a first-time gelding. Lightly raced. That little bit of a layoff. Todd Pletcher. This horse to me is very, very intriguing, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that morning line holds up at 12-1. For me, today's dark horse play of the day, race number 8, horse number 2, Midnight Worker, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile, 445 Broadway, Saratoga Springs. All right, let's jump into stakes action on this Saturday. Stakes kick off today with the Saratoga Special Grade 2 event. $200,000 up for grabs. 6.5 furlongs is the trip. And I'm going to be intrigued to see if you had the monster on top.
Yes. First off, do you have any favorite Saratoga specials?
I don't.
There'll be one that, if Naira could show the good people the pan shot and then the head on, and next year will be the 30th anniversary. Now, this used to be the first 2-year-old juvenile stakes for colts. And matter of fact, I think that 1993 was the last time. And then when we came back in 94, I think they flip-flopped the Sanford and the Special. But DeHare, who was beaten at the 16th pole on the rail, and Eddie Maple jerked him out to about the 6th path, and it's probably the finest 16th of a mile run I've ever seen. And that was, he swept the 3-year-old, the 2-year-old colt races, the 3 of them. And I think he was like the first since, I don't know, maybe Native Dancer and which was, the 50s. And I don't think any colt has done it since. But next year will be the 30th.
I don't know how many try these days.
Oh, anymore? No. I mean, even that we spread them out. It used to be.
This was in the 4 weeks.
Right. In the old days, it used to be 22 days. You had to run the 3 of them. But it wasn't the case with DeHare. We had gone to the 5-week meet. Gulfport, to me, I mean, it just early in the career where we are right now, this offspring of Uncle Mo is head and shoulders above the rest. Debuted at 1-2, debuted in stakes action at 1-5. I would be leery with 2-year-olds, and Damon's Mound is in here, so I don't think he'll be 1-5 today. Although we've had I think we had about a handful of 1-5 shots at this meet. But right now, Steve Asmussen, I think, has the best 2-year-old colt in sprinting. For second, number 5, Owens Leap. Third career start, they're going to add blinkers today. And for third, number 2, Damon's Mound, who is 7-5 on the morning line, won by nearly a baker's dozen on debut, 4-5-2 in the Saratoga Special.
4-2-1 for me. I couldn't get past Gulfport off that Bashford Manor win. Well, the first 2. It seems absolutely logical in here. I'm master of the obvious, but it just seems like it's hard to get past this one. Damon's Mound could be any kind, but we only have that maiden breaker to go by, which was fabulous, and maybe this horse will contend with Gulfport today. We'll see. It's going to be fun to see what Damon's Mound can do, but we're just going on that one maiden breaker, and so this horse could go either way when tested in this kind of a race today. Super Chow also off a big maiden breaker, but not only that, boy, a nice bullet workout. Best of 116 down at Gulfstream to lead into this race. So Super Chow, if you're looking to play around and maybe find a little bit of a price, Super Chow to me is potentially interesting. In the fourth, 4-2-1.
So far, I'm 0 for 4 in one punch exactus.
Oh well.
No, it's and I don't even. This is a race where I can't see sussing out any price that I'd be comfortable with Gulfport. I thought I could find a price with other races, but not to say. On to the 5th, State Breds. We had many of them yesterday, but 3-year-olds and up fillies, entry-level allowance, racing 7/8 out our front window.
2, 1, 3, and 8. Sweet Mystery on top for me. Debut effort was okay. One of those to build on, and built on it very nicely, winning in the second career start, and did so in a fashion that says this horse should be competitive today. Probably has to step up a little bit again, but I just don't think what we've seen so far says that's out of the question. So I'll tilt there. Toscanova Beauty number-wise is on a nice series of improving buyers, the latest of which is with the best in the field. I believe, yes, it's the best in the field, but it was up at the Finger Lakes. So I'm just not sure about the Finger Lakes to Naira transfer, holding those numbers or being able to move forward from. And then in the third spot, Know It All Audrey goes out for Rob Atras, Irad Ortiz on board. So potent combination there to maybe benefit this horse who has some experience at this level. It hasn't been beneficial experience necessarily. It hasn't been beneficial as far as purse money, but I think, some education, as opposed to like my top pick, for instance, and, the numbers are okay. Once I got past the top two, it became a little more murky. Captain's Daughter has tossed in some interesting numbers and has tried some stakes company. I may regret putting that one down the fourth spot off that experience, but I have it 2-1, 3, and 8.
I'm 2-8-1 in here, and I agree with Seth. Sweet Mystery in the third career start takes on winners for the first time, but tipped the hand at nearly 20-1 in debut was a skill set. It was a runaway, spaced out, exacta, then followed up at almost 9-1 and scored for a second. Captain's Daughter, who really, I think is going to be dangerous in here because after running well in the Bowery, a couple races back, has tried 2 turns, including up here at 9 furlongs, now shortens up to 7/8. And for third, number 1, Toscanova Beauty, a rarity, Seth, in 7 career starts, has never taken a backward step in the Beyer speed figures. You don't see that too often at any level, but ascending. I think there was one tie, but has never taken a backward step.
Yeah, I've heard people write about that before. The number, I would love to hear, like, average, somebody who really has a database of Beyer figures, what the average is that you can expect horses to move forward before a regression, because I would guess it's probably 3 or 4, maybe, before you step back. I mean, it seems like 3 or 4.
3 or 4 races or 3 or 4 points?
3 or 4 races.
I think
That's
a good educated guess. I think that's a very good educated guess.
6 races.
Although I say a lot of times the less well angle. They run better than odds in that debut, so they get, and usually it's not a gigantic number, but say they get like a 65. Then they come back next time at about 1/4 the price and they get a 53. Now, that. But if I had to make one bet, I think you're right there.
Well, you're talking though, like first start to second start.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. See that
you want to eliminate that from the thing? Okay.
I'm thinking just over the.
And I think you're right. The people talk about sheets, they talk about cycles, 3 or 4 races, and then.
Like, 6th race today at Saratoga. State bred non-orders are 1, 5.5 on the grass.
7.53 Sheriff Bianco for Linda Rice, and Irad Ortiz just got beat on the opening week of this meet at 3-1. I give it another chance for the offspring of Spicer. By the way, not that it was like any great insight, but I don't think Central Banker is talked about a lot as a stallion, as the son of Spicetown. I think Munnings is clearly the high watermark, but Central Banker has had a very, very successful meet as a stallion. For second, number 5, Golden Hornet, making the second career start. July 19th, debuts 1 for Larry Ravelli. They listed this horse as a gelding. That's probably about the minimum amount of time I would believe that this horse was gelded since the 19th and is running on the 13th of the next month. And for third, number 3. So 7.53 in the 6th.
7-5, 1 and 3 for me. Yes, Sheriff Bianco on top off the last 2. Nice win at Belmont. Claimed out of that win, made the kind of the negative class move, as I talked about earlier. I like state bred allowance into open claimer. Made the opposite move, but did it all right. Came out of the win and the claim and just missed against this type last time. So I think fits again today. Made special weight to this level. Golden Hornet. I debated putting this one on top. The Colonial race was very good with a very good number. But yeah, they geld the horse out of that race. They come up here. They move to the turf. It's just the whole scenario was a little weird to me off a very good win down at Colonial. So I had to have the horse in the mix. As I say, debated putting on top. I just couldn't quite pull the trigger there. Street Culture in the 3rd spot, 12-1 on the morning line for a horse who broke the maiden back in April, but another one trying the surface for the first time. But it's Linda Rice, so I'm going to put my trust in the trainer here to be making a clever move, perhaps, in the 6th. Interesting, intriguing race in here with Golden Hornet, Street Culture. I have it 7, 5, 1, and 3.
All right, take a quick break. When we come back, the late pick 5.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Vartley and I'm here at the West Condominiums in Saratoga Springs. And guess what? We are down to the home stretch. Everything is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Come make a selection of one of the greatest condos ever to be built in Saratoga Springs. We're starting in the upper 5s and the only rooftop penthouse available now under construction. Wow, just look at this patio. We have a rooftop pool, heated garage, balconies, and a gym. Call me at 518-281-6808.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from in front of Clare Court on the backstretch of Saratoga Race Course. At the top of the hour, He Stays, I Go, racing across America. What do you got for the good
nice
people?
Show today. Tom Rooney, the president and CEO of the NTRA, National Thoroughbred Racing Association. A lot of the big wigs from the various organizations in town, because the Jockey Club tomorrow, Jockey Club Roundtable annually, a confab of horse racing. So yesterday we had on Lisa Lazarus from Heiss this morning. We'll talk to Tom Rooney from the NTRA a little bit later on. We'll talk to Dylan Davis. Had a nice win yesterday with Jack Knowlton's Tapple Cider. He had a stakes win a little bit earlier this week, or last week, the end of last week on our Flash Drive in the Della Rose. So we'll talk a little bit about Dylan riding and whatnot. He had a great won the Aqueduct Winter meet, second in the Aqueduct Spring, and the Belmont meet just. Oh, that had to be tough, but he's riding great, and has been in New York for, again, going back to the winter time. And then we're going to be joined by Bill Nader, also in town for the Jockey Club Roundtable. Bill Nader, most recently of Hong Kong Jockey Club, but longtime authority here at the New York Racing Association. He's headed out to California to head up the Thoroughbred Owners of California, and so we'll talk about Hong Kong and his time here at NYRA and what's ahead for him as well.
I think he's a good baseball player.
Bill Nader wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, wouldn't surprise
me.
So that's all coming up, top of the hour, racing across America. All right.
All right, on to the 7th race. 2-year-olds, open company, maiden special weights, racing 6.
9, 10, 7, and 11. The 11 is first out on the AE list. If that one doesn't make it in, pull in the number 4. But I'm going to put Black Rain on top. I talk about Connect every once in a while. Some sires are, into mischief. Not this time. There are some sires, and Bolt Oro this year has made a little noise. Some sires, though, are pretty good with first-time starters and just float under the radar a little bit. I think that's Connect. He's one of those. 35 first-time starters this year. 5 winners, 3 seconds, 3 thirds. So those are pretty good first-out numbers. This is a sibling to Ethereal Road, the nice Lucas 3-year-old from this year. Also had a sibling called Turn Decide that was third, then second. Won the 3rd start, won the 5th start. So I thought there was a little win early maybe and some talent shown on the bottom side. It's a Pletcher firster. So I'll put Black Rain on top. Second spot, Mr. McGregor. By the aforementioned Into Mischief, who we all know is a very good sire, precocious runners. Bill Mott can train first out winners, and this one had a sibling called Palm Springs that was second in debut and won the 2nd career start. So I thought that horse also intriguing. Also by Into Mischief, the Shug McGahee trainee, General Jim. This one, though, excuse me, I looked up siblings. Siblings weren't especially exciting, so I might have been tempted to move this horse a little further up other than that, but I do, with Into Mischief on top, did want to have that one in the mix. If Ohana Honor gets in, West Point Thoroughbreds chasing, we had Terry Finley on yesterday, chasing 1,000 victories for their partnership. That's incredible. Congratulations to them. But they're a couple away, I think, still. But Ohana Honor had a sibling called Space Mine that won 3 of the first 4 starts of the career. Another sibling called Benner Island that won its debut. If Ohana Honor gets in, take note. But I have it 9, 10, 7, and 11.
Ethereal Road might end up being the ultimate horse racing trivia question. Right? He's the scratch, right?
He out because he's out. They're in.
With the T-shirt that doesn't
and I would
exist.
love to have the
T-shirt that doesn't have the winner.
That T-shirt will go down in history.
1, 7, and 10 for me. One of my stronger thoughts of the day. The coach Wayne Lucas sends out Bourbon Bash from the rail, the second career start. Sharp workout since the debut. For second, General Jim Shug's offspring of Into Mischief with very sharp works. And then number 10, Mr. McGregor, for the used to be very familiar silks, especially in Southern California, but they did come to New York with Bill Mott. The Wine Gods, the offspring of Into Mischief debuts. 1, 7, 10.
And if people aren't catching on the T-shirt reference, there was an official Kentucky Derby T-shirt.
As per usual.
But because the winner was and also eligible, he didn't
He's
make
not
the T-shirt, so the winner of the Derby is not on the official Kentucky. And Ed DeRosa, I wish I could remember the exact line because it was much funnier than I can remember, but he said something, like tweeted out like the next day, something like, well, this is the ultimate missing the also eligible kind of a thing. And
it is.
It really was. The 8th race at Saratoga, optional claimer, non-winners at 1 mile on the grass.
1, 5, 10, and I'm sure many have picked up. I mean, it should be a given, boy, when they drop the rail, staying on the inside, good early speed. Portfolio company won't be nearly the price of Theodora Grace, but much going for this offspring of Kitten's Joy with going out of the Chad Brown barn. Exits Monmouth Park's Tail of the Cat Stakes. For second, number 5, Graham Mosher's runner takes on winners for the first time after breaking the maiden off at a nearly 11-month layoff. And for third, we're on the outside. Number 10, Constitution Lawyer for Ray Handel comes out of a third-place finish at the rarely run distance of 9 furlongs on the inner turf course. 1, 5, and 10. I say that teasingly because usually there's just 2 or 3 a meet. And we had 2 of them within like the first 3 days of the meet and haven't gotten back to it. 1, 5, 10.
1, 12, 2, and 13. But I also have check marks, and that's the 11, the 4, the 5, the 13 is the first on the AE. But I put Portfolio Company on top also. It's Chad Brown, it's Kolarovich coming out of a couple of nice and improving efforts to start the season. I think could be set up well, stepping out of Stakes Company into the more proper non-winners of 1. Second slot, I'm going to take a look at Seal Beach. And I will agree that, this mile on the turf to go out to the 12 post position, I may be stretching, but boy, that last race was very good. Now, it was on the dirt, so we're kind of rolling the dice a little bit here on the surface switch, but a 10-1 with the scenario, I thought worth tossing in the mix, particularly since my dark horse play today, 12-1 is also going to be in the mix, and I'm going to, play around and box up and do a few little things in here, but I talked about Midnight Worker earlier. This horse to me is going to be intriguing. Off the layup, coming back for Pletcher and Napoli, first time gelding. Mekalop, I'm sure I did not get that close, but the Chad Brown runner that's the first on the AE, don't ignore that one if a scratch pulls that one in. But I have it 1, 12, 2, and 13. And I will say, you talked about the inside post positions. My friend Sam Pendolino, who typically, if he's watching, I will give Sam a thumbs up. Longtime executive at the Buffalo Raceway, now retired, but I got to know Sam from our trips up to Woodbine, but he's a regular now, comes into Saratoga a bunch of times during the meet. But he texted me yesterday. He had hit a nice bet earlier, so he had a little catch, he was a little flush, and so in one of the turf races like this, he said, I just boxed 1 through 6 in the Superfecta and got a great payoff with it. Just took a little shot with it. that's the old harness track kind of, hey, let me box up the 1, 2, 3 at the harness track. But it's the same, the inside,
So I guess for 10 cents, that's $36.
It was very reasonable. But as he said, and he played it more than once though, but wound up, I think, with over $1,000 coming
Ding,
out
ding,
of it.
ding,
So,
ding,
yeah, heads up there.
Congratulations. On to the 9th race, open company, 3-year-olds and up. Maiden special weights, racing 7/8.
2, 4, 3, and 7. The one entry also intriguing to me underneath, and at a short price. I'm kind of master of the obvious. I may regret not moving that one entry up, but I put leading contender on top. If you watch enough, I'm always intrigued by first out runners from Chad and Klarovich, and this one by Gun Runner. There's a bonus as well. So at 8-1, I just couldn't kind of ignore, given that I'm on that team so often with firsters, particularly up here at Saratoga. If this one gets away at a price, I didn't want to be on the sidelines. 4 Good, another Chad Brown runner, this one with some experience under the belt, sprinting the 6 furlongs on the muddy track in the career debut, and doing so in a fashion that says, I think we can build off of that. It was a 2-1 favorite that day. I will not be surprised with an improvement. Citizen Mac coming up, a decent little try to kick off the season here at Saratoga last time for Shug, I think is also interesting for me. 2, 4, 3, and 7.
I just want to make a quick note on your top pick where you don't see this very often, but I think there's a good explanation. Gun Runner stands for $125,000 now. This horse brought $180,000, but that was at a sale almost 2 years ago. I don't know what it is exactly, but I would think Gun Runner was probably maybe 20, 30, or 40,000 at the time. Because if it was modern, you'd be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. That's not a good sign. But I think you can look it up and find out what Gun Runner stood for 2 years ago. But I'm also thinking that this probably would have been one of the first sales for a Gun Runner offspring. So I think the 180,000 makes a lot of sense because I think it's probably about 6 times what Gun Runner stood for. I am 4 Good, making the second career start. The offspring of Curlin, who cost 175 to go to. This one cost 800,000. They had blinkers the second start. Debuted as the beaten chalk at Belmont for second. The entry has the number 1 and number 9 post position. The 1A is my pick, Expressman, the first time starter from Liam's Map. And for third, another firster, Wayne Lucas sends out number 8, Final Approach. 4, 1A, and 8. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the late Daily Double.
No matter where in the world you are, the excitement of wagering on horse racing is just a click away. You'll get live streaming, past performances, race replays, our virtual tote board, analysis and selections from professional handicappers, a simple, safe, and secure wagering platform, and best of all, you get track prices. CapitalOTBBet.com. Bet any place, anytime at CapitalOTBBet.com. And be sure to download our new mobile app from the iTunes Store or Google Play.
What if there was a way to become a better horse player, to have a better knowledge of the game, to be more successful? What if there were a way to take what you've learned, what you know, and make better decisions, better choices? In horse racing, knowledge is a powerful tool. Race results and replays, past performances and live streaming, wagering from all your digital devices. Capital OTB. Become a better horse player.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. It is a Saturday in Saratoga. That means stakes action, and today's Grade 1 feature is race number 10, the 4-star Dave Handicap. $500,000 up for grabs. They will travel 1 mile on the grass.
What a race. I mean, there's only 5 in here. Tactics will be aplenty. You have the rails down. I probably could have looked at this race for maybe an additional hour, and I don't know it would have been any clearer for me. 4, 5, and 3 are my selections in here. Mason gets my top pick for Chad Brown, the offspring of Kingman. Exits a victory in the poker. You have to watch this race. You only have to watch really like the first 30 seconds of it because it looks like, and I love the comment here, it looked like a wrestling match between rider and horse early. Now, remember in the 1 mile up Belmont, sort of, little bend into the first turn, and it seemed as if where the backstretch was starting, Fabian Prado was really wrestling at its apex, but settled down, got going, scored the victory. Mason is my top pick in here. I have Get Smoking for second. I'm projecting out that this is going to be the pace setter in the race from the outside post, and that Javier Castellano will get to the head just quickly as he can, take him along as long as he can. And for third, the mare in here, 3 for 3 at Saratoga, won the Della Rose last year, has won 3 Grade 1 stakes races since then. Regal Glory for Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz. 4, 5, 3. Casa Creed wins. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, certainly rooting for Casa Creed. Lee Einseidler, always fun to see his horses win. I have a 3, 1, and 4. Regal Glory on top. She steps in to face the boys. I think, given what we've seen in the first couple of starts so far, well, there was a start in January, but the first couple of starts, spring into summer, the Jenny Wiley, the Just a Game, boy, they were really good. And I think this horse is set up to run well today. Again, faces the boys, but I think is a solid fit. Because of that, we don't talk about weight, but does get a little weight in this handicap compared to Mason and Casa Creed. Casa Creed coming out of the Jaipur last time. Won the Jaipur last year and then ran third in this race. I think coming out of the Jaipur this year, Casa Creed is in a really good spot, and I won't be shocked at all to see Casa Creed win. I think this is a nice matchup between these two. I put Mason in the third spot. Best effort from this horse puts that one right in the thick of things as well. Field of only 5, but this is shaping up to be a very, very nice race. In the 10th at Saratoga, the 4-star Dave, 3, 1, and 4.
And I think on scale, that makes her the high weight of the
Probably
race.
does.
I think she would get 5 pounds this time of year. On to the finale. 3-year-olds and up, maiden claimers, open company in for 40, a mile 16th on the Mellon.
7, 3, 5, and 2. The 9 a little bit intriguing as well. Callaway Peak for Carlos Martin, but I put Greg's Honor on top. Claimed last time, moves into the barn of Mike Maker. Claimed out of a pretty good try last time. I think overall, if you look at the numbers, this horse fires pretty consistently as firing numbers that match up with this bunch, whereas some of the others may have better numbers here or there, but overall maybe they're a little more inconsistent. So I thought, Michael Dubb, Michael Maker, Irod Ortiz, the numbers and whatnot just kind of added up to tilt in this direction. Good Soldier also over the past couple of starts has tossed in very good numbers. The Safi Joseph runner makes a maiden special weight to maiden claiming move that I think will be very, very beneficial. And Left on Boylston dropped in for a tag last time and had a little bit of an improved effort as compared to a couple of starts back against maiden specials anyway. And so I think kind of has found the comfort zone at this level, given what we've seen the last 2 starts at this level. They've both been competitive, and I think will be so again today. In the 11th and final at Saratoga, about 6:45 tonight. 7, 3, 5, and 9.
Well, I'm hoping there aren't a lot of people from the city of Boston who bet names, because I like Left on Boylston on top for Michelle Nevin, making the third start since income tax day. Like the most recent effort as they were wrapping up the Belmont Spring Summer Meet at this level. Hopefully we move forward with Kendrick Carmouche back in the saddle. For second, number 10, Empire Ridge, second off the $40,000 claim. Mike Baker grabbed this runner from Linda Rice. We're on the outside with Luis Saez. We have some good tactical early speed. Hopefully be able to use that to save ground into the first turn. And for third, number 3, Good Soldier. Safi Joseph's runner runs for a tag for the first time. Gets Javier Castellano in the saddle, who is just maintaining winning at about 20, just under 25%, and his ROI through the roof, especially with the $70 winner. 5-10-3 in a very intriguing finale for the late pick 5 players and the pick 6. Terrific Saturday card. And once again, it's hard to ask for a nicer day to be at the racetrack than we're experiencing right now. The weather is flawless.
I agree.
I mean,
It's
there's no
gorgeous
clouds,
day.
very little humidity. A little warmer than it was yesterday morning, but both were perfect for jacket and
No,
tie.
by the afternoon it was just right.
Well, it's summer. It's summer. The guy had to probably take off his parka that had it on at 7:57. What time did I get here yesterday? About 7:40 in the morning. Had to take off his parka by then, midday though. So he stays, I go. Up next, racing across America. Everybody enjoy 4-Star Dave Day.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital